This is it. We started.
Boom. Oh, we're here.
We're here. We're doing it.
Here we are.
This is very informal, Taylor.
Here's the problem with Black Lives Matter. I think...
Boy, do you know the demo of this pod.
Listen, I just want to get... That's how I temp the room, pretty much. I don't know what kind of podcast this is. You said it wasn't a Muslim podcast. I don't want to make you bleep too early.
Well, all right. I didn't want to edit, and now here we go.
Here we are.
Well, who knows? Fucking Mike Bramonti was on the podcast, and he brought up Colin Kaepernick taking a knee, and I was like, oh my God.
Here we go.
What does this podcast bring out of people? You were a vegan a minute ago, and now you're... What are you talking about?
I think he's silently got some views that he's not willing to share. That I think would affect his quote-unquote brand.
Colin Kaepernick or...
Both.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I think definitely. Him and Adam Mueller, I think both deep down have some things that need to come out.
You're telling me Adam Mueller, a guy who started comedy at 42 years old, who was an investment banker, he thinks down on minorities?
Listen, I think, a guy who runs his own hedge fund, he has some opinions. I think he has some opinions. I love him, but I'm just waiting for the material to come.
Right. Well, you look like the demo he likes. You specifically, especially in that jacket, you look like you run numbers in a deli in Southie.
I am a Bosnian hitman. That's what I am. I fit in Astoria pretty well.
Do they think you're Greek?
I can blend. Like, when I go up to the cart to order some, falafel or whatever, they're immediately comfortable with me.
Oh, that's good.
And then I start speaking. They're like, you fucking, I just ordered something last. I don't know if you've ever been to the cart. They put out this plate of like shit, a bunch of shit wrapped in aluminum foil. They're just dates. They're just giving dates. They're giving away dates. They're giving away dates. And I thought it was like he put the plate out. Immediately, people start going and grabbing them. And I thought it's like an inside thing. I'm not going to go up and who am I? And then
you're not a neighborhood guy yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I go up there and he gives me like go ahead. He gives me the
He
go
gave
ahead.
you the nod.
And I was like, all right. I didn't even know what I was grabbing. It could be it looked like a thing of Coke you shove up your ass. I was like, all right, I'll take it.
Did you shove it up your ass?
I didn't, but because I wanted to see what it was and enjoy it, and just a date, not a date guy.
They're just not good. The problem with dates is they don't taste good.
They're almost tasty. Almost.
They're almost tasty.
It's almost a dessert.
They're auditioning.
Yeah, exactly. You bite in, you're like, you're not quite there. Go back in the lab and figure it out. Figure out the recipe.
The fucking Greeks they're like, okay, we have grapes and we have olives. What's something in the middle that we could serve?
Oil. That's
olive oil. Yeah. I just found out is just olive juice that was never purified.
Really?
Yeah. Learned that like yesterday.
So, okay, here's another question I asked, and I asked the chef of the restaurant that I used to work at, and she couldn't tell me. I was like, "What's the deal with cold?" I know, already a problem. I was like, "What's the deal with cold pressed olive oil?"
Oh, you're just cold. I don't even know what that is.
Exactly. I think it's a scam.
Wait, what is it?
It's. You know how you say? Have you ever seen like cold pressed juice, like a green juice, cold
pressed?
Yeah. Again, is it just that they're pressing? I think what it is that it's sort of like cold brew, where when you brew it at a lower temperature, there's less like it changes the flavor, changes the acidity. I think it's more pure. So if you do that with olive oil, maybe it's a more.
Well, then if we go by what I learned, if olive oil is just olive juice, they're just juicing olives.
Cold olives.
It's just cold olive juice.
And they jack the price up. And these are my people. I'm Italian. I should know this, but
the fucking Greeks.
But the fucking Greeks.
I mean, their economy's shit, and this is how they're trying to make it up.
I know. They're just running around. They got a truck on every quarter. They're all competing, and yet they're all best friends. I don't understand.
Well, they're all related. That's why.
Yes. And they're all the king of it. Whatever they're serving, they're the king of whatever they're serving. There's like 4 trucks. We're like the king Slovakia. So it's all just meat and French fries and white sauce wrapped in a pita.
You're Italian?
I'm like 37% Italian.
Okay.
Which is the biggest chunk of anything I have.
I was going to say Yarish.
The story with that, okay, my last name is a fucking catastrophe. And I don't know how to say my last name. I do not know how to say my last name because it's dependent on where you're from and how you're going to say it. Because, so my dad, he's from New Jersey, so he said Yarish growing up.
It's the long A. Yeah.
Yarish, how you doing? Yarish. But I kind of like, I don't really have a strong Jersey accent, only if I'm drunk and yelling. And so I kind of do more of like an air, like a Yarish. And so it's just kind of dealer's choice.
Wait, say it how you say it, then say it how your dad says it.
Yarish.
Verse.
Yarish.
I can barely hear the difference.
It's like
Is
apple
it
and air.
Okay. So when I say Yarish, how wrong am I?
Way off. But I don't correct anybody. I don't correct anybody.
You got to put some fucking dots over that A or
I
a
know,
fucking
I need like a
symbol or
line
something.
or something. But so this is my dad who did no research. He told me that when my ancestors came over on the boat, a lot of times they would just give you a name based off whatever you had. You know, like you have Silver, you're Silverstein or whatever it was.
Right. Well, that's the example you're going to use?
Yeah.
Out of all the examples we could go with?
They shoved them all on a boat. And so I don't know what my ancestors had, but I've seen the
Yarn?
original. Maybe.
What could it be?
I think it was just, that was distilled down from, whatever the fuck. It's Polish something. It's
Right.
something to do with Poland. And I don't know. He told me to go by my middle name, which is Dean, but I run into a host of issues there.
But that's a strong stage name, Tayler Dean.
It sounds stagey though.
It does sound stagey.
It sounds stagey. Like I pitched this to my friends in acting school, and they were like, "Oh no, I think of like James Dean." And then my one fat friend was like, "I think of Jimmy Dean sausages," and I'm like, "You were thinking of sausages anyway." So,
yeah, you fat fuck.
You fat fuck. So I don't think I could also like hear another thing and respond to it. You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying there.
And then it's like, what do I write down on a form? How much am I really?
You become Dean. You become Tayler Dean.
I know.
You don't wear that as Tayler Dean.
No.
You still have your hair as Tayler Dean, though.
I could, but I have to shop at I got to shop at that fucking Fulton Center that looks like a spaceship up the street. That's where I got to shop.
It's true.
I peed in there on the way there. And is there anything that's affordable in that entire fucking place? But everything, like all the watch shops, they're like, we got
stupid.
100% blood diamonds in our watches. And it's just, I'm like, who is the demographic here?
And the only people that are really walking through it are people going from Jersey to here.
Yeah.
When are you going home from New York, going back home to Jersey and go, you know what I need?
Yeah.
A Kate Spade bag.
Exactly. I need a $7 croissant at 4 p.m. That's what I need. Like I use the bathroom and you got to go like around the corner. There's a lot of shops in there.
First, also with that bathroom, for a public bathroom.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Well, there was a guard 20 feet away. So if you have a rip in your clothing, he's going to kick you out the door.
There you go.
Yeah, great bathroom. But like there's still shops all the way to the bathroom. Like there was a liquor store back there. There's like a dude playing on his phone. He's the only one. I'm like, how are you open?
How are they affording it?
Yeah. The rent has to be unbelievable.
I go to Italy a lot there, though. I fucking love Italy.
They're in that place?
It's on the top.
See, I don't even...
Oh, yeah, you got to fucking...
even-
I've been
I
living
don't
here
even-
for 4 years, babe. I know the ins and outs of this whole neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, you have to... I wouldn't even have known to come... I thought the only thing down here was fucking, Fidelity Investment headquarters and, Trinity Church.
Yeah, and they're both here, too.
We have those
We
as
have
well.
other options also. We have 2 Burger Kings.
This neighborhood is a steal. This neighborhood, I had no idea. 2 Burger Kings. Hold up.
Yeah, we got 2 Burger Kings. Now, let me ask you this. What is it with New York City where the Burger Kings are infiltrated with homeless people?
Why are they infiltrated with homeless people?
It seems specifically Burger Kings in Manhattan are just filled with homeless.
Because I think tourists come here from other countries and they're more enamored with McDonald's. And so they get flooded to the McDonald's and Burger Kings are just kicked by the wayside and they don't have the self-respect to kick them out. That's what I think they want them in there to make it look like it's busy, to make it seem like they have business.
I can't argue with you there.
I think
can't.
That's any other fast food place.
Wendy's by me, right over here.
Yeah?
Clean. As a whistle.
Yeah, like I never see anybody going in the Wendy's, the Subway. They're the only one that have the guy spinning the cart on the corner trying to get people in there.
Come in.
They're desperate.
It's 2 sandwiches for $13.
Yeah. And I feel like they don't have a Sonic here. Do they have Sonics?
They're about to open one.
Are they?
In Queens or Brooklyn.
I feel like they're
read
always
something.
about to open a Sonic.
There's a big... No, I'll tell you where it is. It's like 42nd Street. They're about to open a Sonic. No drive-thru.
Because if it doesn't work there, it's not working anywhere.
Anywhere.
It's not working anywhere in New York. In my hometown, The talk of the town for about 5 years was that they were maybe going to build a Sonic.
That's every town across the country.
We talked about it for 5 years because it was right by our high school. We're like, hey, we might be getting a Sonic. We might. And then I graduated and they put a Sonic there.
Did they the year after?
Yeah, they put a Sonic there.
Taylor, I've known you for 4 or 5 years now. Where the fuck are you from?
I am from... I was born in Jersey for about 10 minutes, and then I was driven to Bel Air, Maryland.
My cousins live in Bel Air, Maryland.
No shit.
Yep. They moved from Jersey. Well, my cousin lived in Jersey, married a guy from Baltimore. So now they live in Bel Air.
Wow.
From West Orange, New Jersey to Bel Air,
I
Maryland.
was from New Brunswick. Dad's from Union. But
Equally as not good towns.
Yeah, equally as...
Yeah, they're all poor towns.
Nothing going on. And, well, we went there because my dad was running a catering business out of his garage illegally.
You're from Jersey. You said you're from Jersey.
Yeah, business was good in the winter because it was cold and you needed less refrigeration.
Yeah. He wasn't paying for heat or for refrigeration.
Exactly. And he got business cards, the whole thing. It was looking up, but it caught up with him and we had to get the fuck out of Dodge. And so...
Dodge?
Yeah, or isn't that the expression?
Oh, and Dodge.
Yeah.
Oh, you said in Dodge.
Oh, no, get the fuck out of...
I thought he was operating in a Dodge dealership.
Could be. Yeah, or in a Dodge. I don't know what he was driving back then. But yeah, so we got out of
It was
there.
American made, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, for sure. My dad drove a Cadillac his entire life. That's
Really?
a Cado.
He is such a fucking Jersey greaseball.
Yes, absolutely. And then, yeah, we landed in Bel Air, which is just, speaking of nowhere, nothing towns. It's just nothing going on. The biggest claim to fame is like, oh, like Bel Air, like Fresh Prince of Bel Air? No.
No?
Not at
No,
all.
that's California.
Yeah, of course.
Bel Air, Maryland. I went once. A lot of gazebos.
Yeah, big gazebo, big sitting on the porch and watching life go by town.
Right. And it seems like a big sit on your porch and see what the neighbors look like type of people.
Yes, definitely. Definitely, like, we'll go to the PTA meeting. We're all friendly there, but we will see who moves into our neighborhood.
Yes.
We will see who moves into our neighborhood. There are a couple, Bel Air's a weird town because there's, like, neighborhoods where it's kind of shitty, and then you go a few, minutes down the road back in the hills.
That's just America, I feel like. Every town, it's
That's
like,
true.
Yeah, don't go there, but here.
Yeah, that's true. And that was every other kid in my school, I feel like. Had we go to, like, take pictures for prom, and then it's a fucking castle. And you're like, this is where, okay, I'm wearing my TJ Maxx suit. Like,
well, listen, your dad's running. Did he run a catering business in Maryland then?
No. So he was he worked for a very large, like, upscale retirement community, and he was, like, the food and beverage director there. It was in Towson, Maryland.
Towson, Maryland, home of the Tigers.
Yeah, and the only, like, I just knew that when growing up, McCormick Spices?
Of course.
The McCormick guy lived there. And he, like...
In Bel Air or Towson.
He lived in that retirement community. He was old as fuck.
Oh, in
He
the
died.
retirement community.
Yeah, he like... That's the type of people...
Arthur McCormick?
Or maybe his son.
No.
One of them.
That's such like a Maryland legacy to be like, I'm the Spice King.
I'm the Spice King. How's your steak? Let me fucking...
I made that and I made Utz. Those are the two.
Yeah.
Isn't Utz the big Baltimore company?
Natty Boh.
What's that?
That's a shitty beer.
Okay.
That's like our Pabst Blue Ribbon, pretty much.
I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. Why would you? Unless you... That and Old Bay. That's all we got.
Old Bay.
That's all we got. Which some places, like... It is a very... Like, you can go to places and they're like, what is Old Bay?
In the country, not Maryland.
Yeah,
Maryland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Old Bay's on fucking everything.
Oh, yeah. They have that at the gas station.
I wouldn't be surprised.
It's everywhere.
And let me tell you something I don't like about Maryland.
Okay.
The thing's the crabs there.
Yeah.
What an inefficient thing to be your cuisine.
Yeah. It's a very, like... Because it requires... It's such an event to get it. It's such an event. It's messy. It's honestly, it's not worth it. Now, I was fucking spoiled growing up because my dad would just bring home cans of jumbo lump crab meat. Now, you have that sprinkled over, with some Old Bay. You have all the work done. It's fucking amazing. But I'm not going to sit there and crack and ruin a kitchen counter and just...
Well, you sit down, then they throw the paper towels on the table, and I'm like, what
Yeah,
are we
you unfurl,
doing
like,
here?
Newspaper, and I'm like,
They give you a hammer.
are we peasants? What are we doing? Well, yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on.
Yeah. And so it's more like an experience, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Is it big, like, growing up in Maryland? Do you, like, go to crab bakes? Is it like the South with, like, crawfish?
Yeah, you could go to places, but I more often than not, you would get them and bring them back. You would, like, get the crabs and then bring them back. You could go out to the place, but honestly, I never went to a lot of, like, restaurants growing up because
Your dad's a chef.
I grew up in a very good food household. Like, I was the kid going to school and, you know,
I know exactly what you're going to say.
Exactly.
Yeah, the Tupperwares and...
I had, you know, baguettes when I was like teething. You know what I mean?
Baguettes?
Yeah. Oh,
Your dad's gay?
Yeah, 100%. No. That's the only bread. That's what I thought bread was growing up. Like,
that's money. That's class.
Like, dude, my dad, my first comedian that I introduced him to was Sebastian Maniscalco, and he was like, oh, I understand comedy. And so everything he talks about, that my dad was like, yeah, 100%. So, like, Orangina in a glass bottle, that's what I went to school with.
Really?
I went to school with that, blue glass Saratoga spring water bottles.
Class.
Exactly. Because my dad's not going to, he didn't want to buy shit separately for me. So he was, you know, his fridge, he never kept food in the house because he was, you know, he would eat it all. And
he's Italian.
I got that gene too. And so his thing was beverages. So he had every fucking beverage that you could want in there.
In a glass bottle.
Yeah.
That's why he didn't pay his taxes.
Of course.
You can't pay your taxes and get every drink.
Yeah, that's why we had to escape.
Most people are like, yeah, my father left Nazi Germany. He escaped because of the gulag.
New Jersey.
You're like, yeah, the tax collector knocked on the door, and next thing you know, I'm playing lacrosse.
Yeah, they were like, we need to check into this LLC and see what's going on. And he just lifted up the garage and just opened coolers.
And the car just flew out.
We almost got him. That's pretty much what happened.
That's hilarious. And so your dad, I'm trying to connect things now. Because you worked in restaurants since I've known you. I think since the whole time you graduated college.
Yeah, pretty much.
Your dad also working in this culinary area.
Yeah, he worked in food his whole life.
Okay. And your brother is one of the best assassins in United States history. How did we get from you to that?
Well, you know, because if you have a couple kids, you know, sometimes it takes a couple for this to happen, but one is going to fall off. One kind of gets a lot of the
But you're
genes.
older.
No, he's older.
Oh, he's older.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, he's by a couple years, he's 30. But like, if you look in his eyes, you're like, oh, you're 47 years old.
Right. Well, he's aged the amount of. He's seen things.
Yeah. So yeah, he's the killer amongst us.
We kind of talked about this whenever I saw you. Wednesday? When did I see you?
Yeah.
Was he always a like? When do you know someone's a killer? Is my question.
Well, I think it happens very early on. You can tell if you're playing a game of tag with somebody, like the lengths they're willing to go, or like how long they're willing to hide out.
Yes.
Or hunt you down. You know what I mean?
He didn't
like
go
the
back
game's
for 3
been
days?
over for an hour, and he just like rolls out from the bushes. And beautiful.
Okay, we're back. I ran out of memory again on my phone. Again. Second time. In the 9 months I've been doing this, I haven't learned. So how do you know someone's a killer?
So like my mother was she's the more in shape one than my dad was, and my brother got all of that. Like my dad and I, you know, we're both built like fire hydrants. You know what I mean? Just kind of short and stocky and just
low center of gravity.
Exactly.
I've never seen you fall.
I don't fall much.
Never fell.
I'm pretty agile. Like you could push Jason Choi over pretty easy. He's a big guy. But you could trip him so easily.
Yeah, well, he also has awful posture.
Yeah, he has awful posture, and I think about that a lot. I'm like, God, he was doing a joke about like walking up the steps. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, I'm very nervous for his orthopedic health every time I see him.
I know. Have you seen his shoes? I'm like, his shoes are going to need to be...
The insoles are ripped. His feet focus backwards. I don't even know how that happens. How his feet face backwards.
It's it's concerning. But anyway, yeah. So my brother, he's always been the more athletic one. He has that kind of just that competitive drive where like, hey, let's do a race, or like, we're gonna go on a long run, and he will die before he lets you fucking beat him.
So it's not really I want to kill people thing. It's I want to be the best. And I've happened to fall into this line of work.
Originally, it wasn't SEALs. It was like, oh, I want to be, I want to do SWAT. I just want to do badass shit.
He wants to jump out of planes. He wants to.
And then when you're like, all right, well, what's the most difficult? What's the highest level of this shit? And it's SEALs. And then you get into the SEALs, and they show you the slideshow, and then you're like, hard on for America. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
Do you think he's patriotic because he loves that, or?
No, I mean,
or does he love that because he's patriotic? Which one is it?
Certainly already patriotic, but now, I mean, now it's to another level. It's to another. Where's this shirt from? Taiwan. Get it out!
Not in this house. This is a Mike Lindell house. We only have my pillows.
Yeah. So, I mean, going it like afterward, it definitely changed him. But I don't think it was like I want to jack people up. However, if you ask him how he feels about like the fact that we're not really in a war right now, he would tell you it's a bummer to be a SEAL right now. Right now.
There's nothing to do.
There's nothing going on.
It's like being a fireman, no bell going off.
He's like, I want to be dropped into the center of Ramadi and just let me run shit. And then he starts talking about the red tape and like, that you gotta get so much access and like so much clearance and
yeah, maybe you should do that before people are murdered. Maybe that's a good thing.
Before we do a drone strike and
right. This isn't playing Little League on a field you don't have a permit for.
Yeah. So it like in a lot of the navies and just I think military community's estimation is we could clear a lot of shit up in a few days, but we have rules.
I would like to kill everyone, but the government's a bunch of cucks, so they're not going to let me do it.
Okay, what are 3 weddings? Honestly, what are 3 weddings over there? Don't get remarried. They got a lot of kids.
Do me a favor. Name one Syrian kid you know.
I couldn't. I couldn't. And
neither can Obama.
And and neither can Obama. Yeah, so that's a lot of. But I like. We don't agree on everything. But it is nice to have a perspective from someone who knows a little bit about what they're talking about. And so anytime I hear, I don't really watch like a ton of news,
right.
But he would be like my other side of the line where I'm like, all right, well, what do you think about it? What's your opinion? You know what I mean?
What do you think of the U.S. women's soccer team not being compensated? He goes, how much time you have?
Yeah. Like we went there. We were in San Diego. We were visiting.
You were just there.
You were just there, and he lives in Pacific Beach, I believe, which is pretty much Mexico. I mean, we walk to the beach, and you can see Tijuana.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can see Tijuana, and and so like naturally the conversation of the border crisis and all this stuff comes up, and we didn't really get into that too much, but apparently San Diego does have a pretty big kidnapping problem. Like they'll kidnap people and take them across the border and
for ransom,
I guess, or like sell them into fucking sex slaves, or I don't really know.
For the love of it,
I don't. Yeah, exactly. For the
to
love
get
of the
the
game.
numbers back.
For the love of the game, honestly. Yeah, because there's like this big estuary by his house, like this, with all this greenery and shit, and he goes on a run through there sometimes.
Of course.
And if he's got some kind of knife or something, like he's probably okay. But if my mom wanted to go on a run, he's like, no, because you can get lost in there, and then
okay.
At the border is it's right
it's
there.
A baseball throw away.
It's right there, yeah. And what happens sometime is, and it happened when we were there, if there's like a big rain that happens,
okay.
Rain pretty much flushes Tijuana and it comes up the coast, and the smell is not the best.
Nothing against Mexico.
Nothing against Mexico. It's Tijuana. And it's probably a lot of Americans going over there and fucking drinking cheaper beers and then doing God knows what where our laws don't exist. And
I can see your brother he's like, okay, I have off when? Thursday, Friday? Okay, I'm going to stand on the border for 2 days. Just going to stand there.
Just get some overtime in.
Right. No, you don't even have to pay.
Yeah,
I just want to do it.
Stand guard. I'll have an American flag on my shoulder and just see what happens.
What? Because he's doing that. This is going to be a career thing.
I think so. I think, and again, I'm not sure I'm able to say any of this, but I talk about it a lot anyway, so it'll come out. But
we don't have that many listeners.
So it's and no one listens to my stand-up, and so I can. That's why I can. I told that joke. I've been telling it for a couple years. He's never heard it.
It's one of my favorite jokes.
He's never heard it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if he hasn't heard it, ISIS is probably not listening.
Right.
So he was originally, the plan was, I think, to explore other options, maybe go into some intelligence or let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Because having that on your resume, it opens a lot of doors.
Yeah.
So he was
physically and professionally.
Yeah, exactly. So he was exploring some options, but the pandemic hit, and he's like, "What am I going to leave now when jobs are I get this cushy."
He was going to leave last year.
He was going to leave. Yeah, I mean, you sign up for 4 years at a time or whatever, and so he was not going to re-enlist. But he's like, "What am I going to get out now and try to find a job when I have this? Why not just keep the job you have until the job market's a little more stable?"
Right.
So now what he's thinking about doing is, you don't call it auditioning. God, I'm gay.
Sorry, Dad. He didn't say auditioning.
You don't audition. You I guess try out for. The official term would be DevGru, and to the layman, that would be SEAL Team 6.
Oh.
Yeah, which is, that's...
Yeah, you don't audition for
you
SEAL Team 6
audition.
unless you're Taylor Kirsch, and it's for...
I will be doing a
Lone
piece
Survivor.
From... so that might be the route, which is obviously extremely different. The SEALs of the SEALs fail to make that.
Right. This is an elite.
That is the elite of the elite. But again, it's when you're trying out to be a regular SEAL, if you don't make it to be a SEAL, you're in the seaman outfit on the boat. That's what you get
also,
stuck
it's not
doing.
Frowned upon to not make this. You just didn't make it.
Of course, most people don't. We were there, and there was a team. There was a group of guys going through. I think 180 started. There were 12 left.
How many make it, or is it just as?
How
many make it?
There's
no cutoff.
No. It's however many make it, but most do not. And so it started at 180 or something like that, and there were 12 guys at the end of Hell Week. And if you make it to the end of Hell Week, which is in first phase, you're probably going to make it. Right. Most guys, you're not going to drop out after that. And so, and then they get spread out. There's actually there's a good community of SEALs or whatever, but most don't make it. But if you don't, for my brother who wanted to be a SEAL, if you're then on the boat and you're just kind of doing whatever. It can be, if you're out there trying to kick down doors, it's depressing. But at least if you go to be SEAL Team 6 and you don't make it, you're still a SEAL. You don't
lose your SEAL card.
Yeah, you don't go back to the way bottom.
Right, you're not the cuck.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I mean, yeah, because they all live in Coronado around there where he lives. You see them around town, and the dudes who wear their suit to Walmart or
those
whatever.
Those are the worst.
Exactly.
Yep.
For my brother, anonymity is at the most, he never wears anything. He doesn't want you. Now all you got to do is look at any of his tattoos and you're like, oh, okay, he's a SEAL.
Is that Osama bin Laden's head on your tricep?
Dude, he has Paul Revere wrapped in the American flag.
Yeah!
Yeah, he does.
There we go.
And then up his arm, it is Leonidas from 300.
Yeah, next to that's Hillary Clinton eating a baby.
And then it's the fucking, because they call him frogmen. They call him SEALs. So it's it's the skeleton of a frog climbing over his shoulder. It's all on brand.
That's a guy where you see the tattoos and you go, you know what?
Yeah. Pick the next house.
There's no problem.
Pick the next house.
Cover yourself in
them,
bud.
He just bought a house. I feel so bad if any sad sap chooses his house to break into.
But if you're a robber in San Diego, you know the risk.
Yeah. It's a numbers game for sure.
Yeah.
You start knocking on some doors. But that's why I'm saying the neighborhood he's in, it's not the best, Pacific Beach is an area where you could go a couple streets over. It's a nice part of town, and then my brother's in the hood where I was driving around this is your hood?
Well, yeah. It's fucking San Diego.
Exactly. I'm all right.
How close is it to Petco Park?
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah, well, it's the only thing I know.
That's the only thing you know in San Diego?
Yeah, I heard it's a nice stadium.
I know Pebble Beach, and I know the place where people get blitzed. And
it's Pebble Beach.
Or not Pebble Beach, Pacific Beach. I always mix this up.
Pacific Beach. I don't know where Pebble Beach is. I don't know. It could have been San Diego.
It is California. It's like way north, I think. I don't know.
Call us in if you know.
Call in if you know.
Call us in.
I know Central Coast, California, and I know San Diego. That's it.
This is what you're surrounded by, Taylor. You're surrounded by significantly tougher people and significantly richer people because you lived in a villa for the past month.
100%. Yeah. I've done well. I've done well just assimilating and learning when to shut my mouth and just eat the cheese that's presented to me.
Yeah, you don't even know how to pronounce the cheese, you fucking trash bag.
It's the hard cheese and it's the soft cheese.
So you say, let's put some context here. You stay with your girlfriend's parents in their villa. It's not a cottage. I've seen the pictures. It's not a cottage.
It's not a cottage. It is technically a house. It's a pretty nice. It's a little bit less than an estate, I would say, but there is a gate. It is a gated house, not a community.
What do they do for work?
Dad does something for the banks, which, and that's pretty much all you need to say. You could just stop there and be like, okay, well, there.
Yeah, you get it.
But also, I think they're just like, they're not idiots. They like the area they live in, like. It's a nice part of California, but it's not stupid expensive where if you're smart with your money and you have a good career, you can, you could purchase a plot of land.
Right. Coming from a guy who's pursuing stand-up comedy and has a degree in theater.
Be smart with your money.
Right.
Be smart.
This guy's the guy you should listen to about investments.
This is exactly. Exactly. Invest in yourself, and by that means blow all your money on your dreams.
That's right. And what's the play you were in where you were naked on stage? Equus. Isn't that the one where Daniel Radcliffe?
Which at the time I kind of looked. I had hair back then. I kind of looked like him, and so my director was like, "Yeah, close enough," and cast me in that play, and that's when I peaked.
I once put something on my story. Oh, for The Bachelor. I put a clip of Fiddler on the Roof. And you said, I knew there was some theater in you. I was like, no, I just know a lot of Jews. That's all this is. Just grew up with Jews.
Yeah. That's their mecca.
That's the top. It's like Seinfeld and then Fiddler on the Roof. They're right by each other.
I know theater. I've seen Fiddler. Yeah. It's a big one. We never did that one because we didn't have enough Jew kids at our school. I should probably say Jewish.
I can tell that you didn't grow up with any Jewish kids because you just called them Jew kids.
Jew kids. I know a couple.
That's the Jersey coming out of you. These fucking Jew kids.
I know a couple Jew kids. No, I love them very much.
Where'd you even go to school?
Montclair State University.
You are such fucking Jersey trash.
Montclair State, baby, not quite Rutgers.
That's right. Go Chris Hogan.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to go to Rutgers. Didn't get in. It was just.
I think Mom is a better school than Rutgers.
Not for theater. Not for theater.
If we're looking at the theater programs between Rutgers.
Yeah, I mean, Montclair is surprisingly decent theater program for the price, and their biggest thing is look how close we are to the city. A school's not that great if they're just
not wrong.
We're like right down the street from the mall.
Who went to Rutgers though besides James Gandolfini?
Not many people, but you don't need.
You just need one.
You just need one.
Just need one.
Exactly. Who went to our school? Nobody. There's one person who came back to teach, and if that's
pretty good.
If that's what they're doing, then
did they overdose?
They should have.
Well, yeah,
they should have.
I worked with Edie Falco once.
Really? Doing what?
I probably should blank out where. Probably shouldn't say where. I'm gonna bleep that part out. Super nice.
Really?
Yeah. She went to SUNY. What's a good SUNY school for acting?
Purchase?
Bingo.
Nice. Yeah. A lot of the schools in this area, people went to, but you get a couple. There's not really, unless you Juilliard or something.
And even then,
yeah,
it's not what it used to be.
It's not what it used to be, and also in this day and age, you don't need it. You don't need it.
Look at Jake Paul.
Look what he's doing.
He's fighting tonight. He's making $10 million.
Tonight?
Yeah.
God.
Or is that Logan Paul?
Maybe.
I think it's Collison.
It's one of.
By the way,
They're
if
both
you're
fighting.
if you're looking at my outfit and you go, that's the same outfit Rich wore last episode, it's because I'm recording this episode 20 minutes after the last one.
There you go. We're fired up.
We don't even know.
So
So you always wanted to be an actor.
growing up, yeah, I mean, growing up, I wanted to be. That's what I thought I wanted to do. I liked getting on stage, and I liked the best part about doing the plays is when people would fuck up and you'd have to improvise. Because if it was like in a comedy and you improvised and you got a laugh, you're like, oh, I got that off. That was me.
It wasn't, that fucking writer.
Yeah, of course. It wasn't fucking Neil Simon. I did that shit. Unfortunately, I didn't realize that until I had paid most of my tuition.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot there.
I didn't realize that till senior
And you were out
year.
of state, huh?
Yeah. Well, I had to lie. I faked in-state tuition and claimed my uncle's residence about halfway through.
Whatever.
You know, it's a fucking scam.
It's all
like,
a scam.
You know, it's so goddamn expensive for nothing. There was construction all 4 years I went there. I mean, yeah.
Right. I mean, if you get a good degree, it's not. But yeah, for a theater degree, sure, it's a scam.
Exactly. We should get something. The amount of times they fucking ticketed my car.
I mean, I went to Rutgers once for a lacrosse tournament, and they're like, we have these fucking food trucks that make fat sandwiches. And I was like,
That was like their-
what about your engineering program?
Yeah.
What you guys have going on there?
Yeah, our thing, they put in a Guy Fieri restaurant, and they were like, huh?
Really?
Huh? Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
They put in a Guy Fieri restaurant. Not bad, the burgers. Not bad.
Well, it's Flavor Town.
Exactly. He came to the school once and then to open the restaurant, and then he never returned. Which
Well, yeah, why would he?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Just pop in every once in a while.
The beach is close by. You had the horse race track over there.
We didn't do that too much. There's a lot of shit. I didn't do most of the college shit. I didn't go to the frat parties, Kappa. I didn't do any of that.
No, you're too busy drinking wine with
I'm
I was
too
going to say a
busy-
BRA, but that's not the word.
No, I know what you're the French one.
French hat.
You
That's
know,
a
the
French
hard
hat.
cheese and the soft cheese.
We'll go back to that.
Yeah, we go back to that. No, I didn't do any of that. We just talked around, plays and drank Franzia, and it was.
Yeah, so you were gay for 4 years.
I thought about it. I was,
Well, you're surrounded by them.
You come out of some voice classes and you're crying your eyes out, and you're like, "Do I like men? Maybe.
Yeah, sorry, Dad.
Maybe.
This is where the episode's going.
Maybe. Do I like men? I don't know."
But your dad is your dad a creative guy?
All right. Well, I'm gonna and do not feel terrible when I take it in this direction.
Go with it.
Do not feel terrible what I'm about to say.
Well-
my dad passed in June.
Okay.
Dad passed in June. So was very creative. Not to bum the listeners out. But yeah,
Yeah, he's been dead since June. They're over it by now.
yeah, they're over it by now. Was a very creative guy. That's where I got everything. That's where I got my sense of humor.
So then what's your mom?
My mom is where my anger comes from.
I never seen you really angry.
I try to channel it, and I try to, fucking, work out or do something to get it out, because it's not so much an anger. It's it's an annoyance. It's just like a fucking.
Well, you hide it well. 'Cause I've never seen you angry.
I try
once.
to
I've never seen you freak out at a heckler. I've never seen you scream at the audience. I've never seen you say anything negative about anyone but yourself, and that's very occasionally.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I'm trying to, I try to be nice to people, but I think everybody still gets angry. I went to therapy for a while, and I
Gay.
So gay, and then she left me.
Seriously?
For another profession. I went to California, and she emailed me, and she was like, "Hey, so I now work with drug patients. I'm no longer a therapist." Swear
Wait.
to God.
You can do that?
I know. That's what I was like. How many patients do you have that you just kick to the curb that were on the brink already in a pandemic? She did this. I'm seeing her, and I was like, all right, I'm coming back. I looked at her. I'm like, I'm coming back. I will return. I'll come for you. And then she was like, all right, well, I'll see you when you get back. And then she emailed me and was like, so, I'm no longer working at so-and-so therapy. I now do this. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your thoughts.
Is she a therapist? What was her title?
I thought she was.
Did she work there?
She worked in a therapist office that was also shared with a dentist office. And
Well, I'm no one to critique with my health professionals, so.
Yeah, I mean, so she was like, she was good. It was the first therapist I'd ever talked to, so I didn't nothing to compare it
But
to.
how do you I'm not a therapist. Mark Gerber's the only therapist I'm friends with.
Okay.
How do you just go, you know what?
Not for me.
These depressing people, pretty depressing.
Yeah, like it's kind of what you signed up for. And I talked about it a little bit, like, a while ago. Like I've been in a job where I didn't like the people or I didn't like what I was doing, and it is tough to leave a place, but and especially when you have so many people that are dependent on you,
Right?
Like, and I guess she could have arranged for me to be passed on to another therapist, but that's so tough because then you got to rehash all the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, how much are they really going to get from the file? Like, she was never taking notes. She just had a great memory, and she remembered all the shit I said. But yeah, I was like, the thought of starting over, I was like, I'm fixed.
Oh, see how that's going with that jacket on.
I'm fixed. I'll be fine. Yeah. So that was the last time I did therapy.
Okay. So about a month ago.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it really hasn't even hit yet.
No, it hasn't kicked in.
Yeah. Was she the one that recommended you quit your job?
No, well, she said to quit my job if I wasn't happy there, and I took her advice.
That's what you paid her to tell you?
Yeah.
You paid a person to be like, hey, whatever you don't like,
I should, yeah.
drop it.
Yeah. Well, she was like, you should quit if you're not happy. I'm like, well, I also want to keep coming here. And
That's how you get paid.
yeah. I'm like, you're not giving me any fucking discounts here. So it was a very tricky situation. I quit in the end, and
That's what you had to do. So you were to give reference again, a manager of a 5-star restaurant that specialized in breakfast.
I don't know if
Well, you worked the morning shift.
Yeah,
I shouldn't say
we
specialized
didn't
in
really
breakfast.
do stars. It wasn't a 5-star.
It was very nice.
It was a Michelin star restaurant, which
Yes.
if you know anything about food, it's a very good restaurant. The executive chef, the owner, she like had one of those like Mind of a Chef things on Netflix. Like she's a big
She's known.
She's known.
She's
She's got a
known.
book. She's known in the food world or
Okay.
whatever. However,
me.
this is I love sharing this tidbit is the person that she went into the restaurant with, her who was a restaurateur, her partner in this was Ken Friedman, who got a Me Too bust with what's the chef's name?
Mario Batali.
Exactly.
Why was I so quick with
Why
that?
were you so quick?
Why
with
do
that?
I-
These are my people, and if one goes down, we all know about
That's
it.
right. People that wear Crocs.
So, yeah. So like, it was a huge when that busted. It was a huge thing at our restaurant. Like
Really?
Yeah. Like we couldn't put out the times that morning because there was. So what happened was their first restaurant was the Spotted Pig, and they had a.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
it's a great spot,
restaurant.
Yeah.
Like it's a huge celebrity spot, and that was Ken Friedman and April Bloomfield, the chefs. That was like their baby, and so they had like this third floor of the restaurant, which the workers at the restaurant nicknamed the Rape Room.
Now, Taylor, I'm assuming that's not a good thing.
No, see, when the people
The
who
third
worked
floor.
there, they had a
The
third
floor was a whole rape room.
They had a private floor because it was like a big celebrity place. So like celebrities would go and they'd have private parties and shit. And sometimes after hours, when the patrons left, it got a little hairy in there. And Mario and friends
in his Crocs.
would go up there, and you just didn't want to get that section of the restaurant if you were serving there. Because
So you would have to check in, and then the stewardess, not stewardess, who's the girl in the front?
Host?
The host would be like, all right, yeah, you.
You got, No, I think if you were having if somebody rented it out, that was fine. Like if it was,
Okay.
if Jay-Z is up there doing his thing, that's fine. It's when there was nothing going on there and the owner would go up there and just get liquored up and he would just be completely.
Who was Freeman?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And he, like, April Bloomfield didn't do anything. Whether or not she knew
Or-
about it is up to interpretation. Who knows?
You
But-
knew her. You had a feeling she didn't know.
Yeah, maybe she knew he was she probably knew he was a shady guy. A lot of
How
people
much was she
knew-
getting paid, though?
Oh, she's making good money.
Money.
She's making good money. However, the restaurant and like most of her restaurants did close because of it, unfortunately. When the
Yeah, because Spotted Pig was, it's right by the Lantern, wasn't it?
yeah, right in the West Village.
Yeah.
It was a nice place and like great food, and yeah, like it like it had a huge New York Times, a whole page with his face, and that was, you know, and it mentioned in the article, it mentioned our restaurant. We had nothing to really do with it other than the fact that they also owned it.
Right.
But we didn't want the bad press. But we did, like, we'd have people calling and be like, you know, like art news people, and we had to be talked about, you know, how to talk to the press if they, and like sometimes patrons would come like, hey, is Ken still around? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Do you want the salmon?
Right.
don't
You
know.
were like, I'm a fucking server.
Yeah.
You think I know where Ken is?
Yeah, exactly. He's in Long Island doing coke right now.
Pretty cool.
He started a new restaurant in Long Island.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Oh, they don't care.
You know
over
where?
there. I mean, you could Google search. It's like as soon as he put his name out there again, there was a lot of articles. But I mean, Long Island, if you're gonna try to come back, that's the place to do it.
I mean, that's why Louis out there.
Right. Of course. Is that where he lives?
No, he does governors a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, he does governors
Exactly.
a lot.
So it's like, you know, they're very forgiving people.
Listen, they've done worse. Whatever you've done, they've seen worse.
Touched a waitress? I did that last week.
That's why I put an extra tip down. All right, here we go.
Exactly. So, you know.
Yeah,
It is
but
what it
just dealing, because you have to deal with, and it's my least favorite type of people, high-end clientele that are demanding.
High-end clientele, and personally, I think it was worse in the morning because the morning environment and like culture at the restaurant is very different at night. At night, the lights dim, it's swanky, it's sexy, there's wine bottles being passed around. Like, you're there to eat. You're there for the food experience. The best
It's
chef,
a night out.
The best chef is in the kitchen, and that's what you do. In the morning, you're getting hotel guests and you're getting people who are there for a meeting. They're not there for the eggs. They're there because there's free Wi-Fi, God help me, and they're there, you know, because it's a table and they can sit as long as they want.
Right.
And so you are just an inconvenience to them.
You ask them
are-
about the coffee. You ask them about...
Exactly.
Yeah.
And free refills on the coffee. I don't want to pull this. Free refills on
think
the
you're good.
coffee. And so, you know, you're trying to turn tables and they're just like, anyway, the corporate infrastructure and the bipartisan, blah, 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 and you're just like, Jesus Christ, wrap it up. Wrap it the fuck up.
Right. Your eggs are cold by now.
Yeah, oh yeah. However, not there for the food. If the food's shit, very opinionated. Very opinionated.
Right.
As they should be, though, because...
How much is an omelet running me at your restaurant?
Oh, you're going to love this. You're not getting an omelet.
There you go.
You're not getting an omelet.
How much is a frittata running me?
A frittata's going to run you... It's not terrible. It's probably going to run you like 15, 16 bucks.
That's not bad.
15, depending on what's in it that day. The ingredients may change.
Do you not get to choose? This is class.
Can you choose what's in your frittata? No, we're gonna tell you what's in the fucking frittata, okay? And if you, I swear to God, if you ask for a vegetable, it's not in season, we're gonna cut your throat.
Really?
Oh yeah,
That's class. That's big time class.
Everything in the restaurant, if it's not in season, we don't serve it. And it's a huge issue because people, like, say we have a yogurt and granola, people want berries, and if berries are not in season,
They don't do it.
You're not getting berries, so they're like, I get strawberries in my bodega. What are you talking about? Like, I just want a strawberry. I'm like, we don't have them.
Listen, guy, then go back to your bodega, get the strawberries, come back.
You can search our fridge. We don't have berries if they're not in season.
That's just what the chef does.
And honestly, I've tasted an in-season berry. Can't taste the difference.
I like how that's your restaurant's philosophy. It's like, listen, we don't do out of season fruit.
We don't.
We might rape you, but we will not.
We may, yeah.
I might bend you over this table and insert myself into you, but don't you dare ask for a lime.
Exactly. And that was all that, but like, it was a thing that they never really, I thought it was a cool thing they never talked about. Like, all the salad, it all came from like the 14th Street, you know, the outdoor shit they do on the weekends where like they sell vegetables.
Oh, they're buying
from the farm.
Gristedes.
Or whatever, from the farm, the local. It's all local. It's
And that
all,
Union Square.
Exactly.
That's
so they
interesting.
buy in bulk and then they do it all there. But yeah, it's like, you know, the menu is the menu. And so, especially with eggs, you fuck up people's eggs and they throw a fit. And so...
It's also not a thing that you can really fuck up.
You can't, but
People find a way.
When I say like you fuck up people's people's breakfast, I think it's a routine. Like, this is how I start my day. If you're like a corporate fucking, you know what I mean, you're dialed in. I start with a green juice.
Okay.
I have my
I understand what you're
this,
saying.
this, and this, and so like for example, like you can get a side of eggs for it's like $6 for 2 eggs, and it's expensive.
It's a bit. It's a bit much.
It's a bit much.
Bit much. Hard boiled? What's a side of eggs?
Side of eggs, like fried eggs,
scrambled, or you order it how you like.
Yeah, you can.
The eggs you can get how you like.
However, they're scrambled eggs. They kind of do their own way. So like most scrambled eggs, you scramble them up. Maybe you put a little butter in the pan or whatever. There's so much dairy in these fucking scrambled eggs.
Yeah.
I mean, there's cream, and then they chop up, and they'll put chives on it without telling you. So there's so many orders of scrambled eggs where the thing comes to the table.
They don't like chives.
And they're like, what the fuck is this green shit?
Yeah.
And then, so what I do is I don't tell them there's chives, so that they come and they're, scrambled eggs take 2 minutes, and they're like, oh, I don't want chives. And I'm like, oh, no problem. I'll fire another one for you. And guess who's eating that scrambled egg? This guy.
Boom.
And that's how we get our breakfast.
And that's why you're so fucking yoked.
And that's how, I'm like, oh, you don't want these? Oh my God, no problem. And then I put it off to the side, and I eat it later.
No, fantastic. Did your dad ever go to that restaurant, see how they run it, and he goes, no, this is a fucking establishment?
Oh, yeah. He came, I think he came for like brunch one time, and if he's coming into a place, he's probably going to say like, oh, I got to see what's going on here. I got to see this. If he's ordering something on the menu, that's how he orders it. That's how he would order. He'd be like, let me see the kale with lamb bacon. I got to see that.
He just goes for the fanciest thing?
Yeah.
Was that his thing?
Yeah. He was never like a traditional, like steak, starch, like a potato, like that kind
He's
of
a creative.
classic. Yeah, like he would rather get like the tapas, the appetizers, the cool funky shit.
Oh, interesting.
Because if you're
he's a big octopus guy, a big ceviche guy.
Yeah, if you do something cool on the menu, he would have rather seen that, because he's stand behind the line. He served a million fucking pork chops, and it's boring to him. It'd be boring.
That's a good perspective
you know what I mean?
on it.
It's like
I understand that.
You're not gonna give me a piece of like a steak that you're not gonna blow my mind with a steak. So give me the cool fucking interesting shit that you have on the starters or the shareable appy or whatever it is. And so, he was like seeing Caddyshack where he goes in the store. He's like, yeah, give me one of those, 2 of those, 3 of these. That
was him.
Yeah, that was him on the menu.
It's just funny to me how he's just like an old school. Listen, I got my company. I don't pay. I'm off the books.
Yeah.
However, I will do a mango infused ceviche for your choosing.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, and approved of the restaurant. I mean,
what's not to approve?
It was a good restaurant, and like once I became a supervisor, nobody important at the restaurant is there in the morning. I mean, I was there at the crack of dawn till about 3. And so I would just...
That's the ideal shift.
Yeah. I mean, it got tough in the end, like especially doing the strip and like getting home super late. Like I was at the restaurant at around 6.
Oh, and you were living in Ridgewood at the time, so that would take you, 45 minutes to get to? And you biked.
I would bike sometimes, but like to get there, I had to take it was a 20-minute walk to the L. And that was the only thing around there. So I would take a bus to the L. But sometimes the bus, like in the winter, standing out waiting for the bus, forget about it.
Yeah.
That's why I bought that fucking scooter.
I remember.
Because I would wrap myself up like an Eskimo. Can you say that? I would wrap myself
on this podcast, you can say most things.
So I'd wrap myself up like an Eskimo, and I would like be flying over the Williamsburg Bridge at 5:30 in the morning, freezing my ass off. And but it gave me like an extra 30 minutes of sleep, which at that time was golden. Right,
and then you sat in your house for a year, and you were like, fuck that.
I was like, get me out of here. So it was an ideal shift for like if people like come in and I tried to get Kate, my girlfriend, to do it all the time, but she never would want to like take it. She felt like she'd taken advantage, or somebody's gonna see that I'm not supposed to be here. I'm like, you could come in here every day for breakfast, and no one would ever say anything.
Oh, you meant to come in as like a patron.
Oh, yeah, like, come in. I'll fucking, yeah. Oh, let me get a pancake. Let me get a fucking...
Whatever someone would send back to the kitchen, you just give to her.
Well, I could do that, but also, like, I got all the codes. I can comp. I could do all that. Because my job at the time was basically to babysit, and if anything was terrible, or if there's a problem with the guest, let me get you a fucking fresh squeezed grapefruit juice on the house or whatever. I was just kind of to put out the fires. That's what I did. So, and I was allowed to have like a meal a day, which I sometimes would take, sometimes wouldn't, because I'm already eating other people's food so much.
Right.
And so I'm like, yeah, come. Like, do you understand for a restaurant like this? Eggs are nothing to. They don't even. That doesn't even go up on the spreadsheet.
Especially with the legal fees included now.
Yeah. Now, if I gave you a fucking T-bone, yeah, they're gonna notice if it goes missing. But like eggs, half the time, they do like a family meal. They're making that anyway. They're not. Nobody's writing this down.
No.
They're not counting the strips of bacon. I'm like, come in here. I'll give you a nice breakfast. You can do it every day. And
I'll tell you one thing. Getting something on the house makes you feel extra good.
Extra good.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like, and that was a thing I think I also inherited from my dad was like, I like to host. I like being a good host. If you come to my place, I'm going to have a drink for you. There's going to be something out.
Okay.
There's going to be, you know what I mean?
Even though you're not really the host here because it's not your restaurant.
It's not, no, it's definitely not my restaurant, but at the time, like at that time of day, there's nothing, I am the manager on staff.
You're as high as it goes.
Yeah. I'm as high as it goes besides the chef. The chef is
chef, but the chef will never come out.
The chef won't ever, no. The chef doesn't come out into the...
That's
and
a
especially
good fucking
because
deal.
It is. And because the restaurant is attached to the hotel, the Ace Hotel, so you could sit in the lobby. All the food for the hotel comes from our restaurant. So...
Interesting.
Yeah. It's a weird setup they have. So you could... I'm going to fucking knock that over.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to... So you could sit out in the lobby of the hotel and never even go into the restaurant. And I could just send a fucking pauper out there to deliver your eggs, and nobody would even know about it.
Let me ask you something. How much is a chef getting paid at a place like this?
Handsomely.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, you're getting paid pretty well because it's not just... What it takes to be a chef, I think, is well beyond anybody's understanding.
The prep work,
the ordering, the organizational, like, you have to be pretty fucking smart. There's not if you're a head chef, you're a pretty smart person, most likely.
Are you smart or you're just so organized?
Definitely.
That you come off as...
You're extremely organized, but you are like... To be able to stay calm under pressure, I mean, especially during like a dinner rush.
I watch Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, when you're calling out those tickets and like how they are able to have a table of 10 with all these different entrees and sides, it all comes up at the same time. I mean, it's
all warm at the same time?
It's magic to me. It's magic, but they like that's their fucking skill.
But they're not actually preparing the food.
No, if
the Mexicans are making the food.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
They're kind of just walking around, checking temperatures.
Exactly, they're the brains of the operation. A lot of times, they're the one who curates the menu.
Of course,
so they're curating the menu, and then sometimes the sous chef or something. Every once in a while, they come up with something, and it might make it to the menu. But for the most part, yeah, they are overseeing, and especially at this place because we did a lot of events. So we're
hotel.
Like the hotel does a lot of
catering.
Yeah. We're doing. We need to have appetizers for 150 people, and then this is going to come out, and then like the timing of it all. It's a lot of pressure. You got to be able to deal with pressure, and I think being organized takes being a little bit. You have to be a little bit smart.
I'll agree with that.
You got to be smart to be well organized.
Chefs always come off as dicks to me. It's not just Ramsay. It seems like a chef. You have to be like you're intrinsic, but you are forced to be.
I'll tell you what, the crossover between chefs and comics, there's a lot there. There's a lot there in like the ball busting and the non-politically correct conversations.
Right.
And the just kind of like, now some chefs, they will fucking jump down your throat if you mess something big up or like, oh, I forgot to put in the side of motherfucker. You know what I mean? Especially at dinner.
How often does that happen?
It shouldn't happen.
How'd you forget? Were you one of the I'm not going to write it down guys?
No. Well.
Oh, yeah. No. You did it for a while and you were like, all right.
So most of the tables that we have are two tops. So like I was never a guy who, all right, I got your order. Now I'm going to go do a bunch of shit before I put it in. If I took your order, it's because I'm immediately about to walk 5 feet to the computer and put it in. And if it's a two-top, I'm going to memorize it. I know the menu, and most people get similar things. It's like, I'm not going to forget in that distance. If it's a bigger table, yeah. Because most of the time people order everything at once, and, I don't want to be that asshole who fucks up. So, yeah, I would write it down.
Okay.
You don't want to fuck up. You don't want to be, especially if you're the goddamn manager, for Christ's sake.
Well, yeah. I mean, because who's after you then? The chef has to come. I feel like the last thing you want is that chef to come out of the kitchen.
Yeah.
Has a chef ever come out of the kitchen?
Not to like, check on the patrons or like, you enjoying your meal? None of that shit.
No, but like, what if someone complains and they were like, this isn't medium rare, and I said it's...
That's my job.
But would the chef, even like, you'd be like, I'm telling you, that's what they said. He would never be like,
no,
I'm going out there.
And in fact, the restaurant, it has an open kitchen. So it's got like, it's called the pass. That's where the food goes up.
Okay.
So the food
That's class. That's classy.
The food gets put up on the pass. They got these big giant lamps, and you could see the whole kitchen. And so a lot of the tables, you're right. I mean, you could see them cooking. So I go up to the pass. I'm like, hey chef, he said this is a medium. Are you fucking? Does he want it well, or does he want it? What does he want? Medium has pink in it. What do you want me to fucking tell you? And they can for sure hear him. They can for sure.
Oh yeah, because you're in the.
Yeah,
you're here.
They're right there, and he's like, "Does he want pink or no pink? What the fuck does he want?" And they're just like, I have to go back around. I'm like, "So would you like? Do you want?"
I don't know
pink?
if you heard.
Yeah, but he was. Do you want pink? Do you want pink or no pink? But yeah, that is my job is to get yelled at so that he doesn't have to.
Right. You just absorb. You're a sponge.
Now sometimes people would like, and most of the time they're just curious. They'd walk up to the pass because they just want to see them in action.
It's like a zoo. Like you're treating them like animals at that point.
And so they're like, you calling out, yeah, let me get 2 sides of bacon, and there's just some asshole sitting there taking a picture.
No, Taylor, you can't do that.
And now I got to be like, hey, sir, could you fuck off? But now I got to be professional, and I got to,
Right.
That's you're saying you've never seen me, flip outs because
because it happens there.
That's where I learned it. Because I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? But I gotta be like, excuse me, sir. Everybody in my life is a patron to me. Everybody in my life, I have to be. It's always just like, how can I approach you?
Interesting.
And not be, because I don't want to be a dick to your face.
Right. I'll just do it on stage tonight in front of 4 people at the Strip.
Yeah, exactly.
If it doesn't close.
I'm pretty like in my normal life. I'm not that like extroverted like on the street or
right.
And I think there's I feel like a lot of comics aren't because you get it out, You get it out I don't crave attention for the most part. Now,
just when you got a hot bit.
Exactly. If I'm at a wedding and I have a few drinks, I will be on the dance
You grab
floor.
the mic.
Yeah, I will grab the mic. I would really like to give a speech at a wedding that I'm not supposed to be at. I would love to do that. I would love to do.
That's a weird thing to say.
Is it?
Yeah, that's pretty weird for that to be like, at a wedding. Yeah, I'd really like to.
I would love to. I would love to give, because I think that would be so funny in retrospect if you could off the cuff give a speech to people you don't know. I think that I would really enjoy that.
But that means you'd have to go to a wedding of people. You'd have to crash a wedding.
Yeah, and which I've never done. My brother's done, and he said it's a lot of fun.
I mean, the guy's a fucking military hero.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna kick him out?
Right.
What are you gonna do?
He's the groom now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm marrying your wife. Give me the cake.
I'm marrying your husband. Get out. Didn't see that one coming.
Yeah. You're the lady for sure.
Oh yeah, that's it. I do an hour. I'm in them out.
We did it, folks.
We did it. Taylor, where can the people find you?
I am at Tayler Yarish, Taylor with an E, Tayler Yarish, Yarish, on all the platforms.
All of them.
The Tayler Yarish Show is the pod. I basically do this exact conversation with myself.
Yep.
Guests may be coming. We'll see. But that's it.
And great video quality.
Great video quality. Come for nothing more than the video.
Yeah, if you want to learn graphics,
yeah,
this kid.
I'll tell you.
All right, team.